afternoon from Northern Ontario. It's raining here today, and we've lost almost all the snow in the front yard, so spring is getting here soon. I know it's spring because the cat's going to go and get shaved for the summer next weekend. Anyway, my name's Dave, and this is McCarroll Siding, my N-scale railroad. This is the continuing journey of building a quarry on my my layout. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at weathering the vehicles, and we're just going to concentrate on the big dump trucks. So, but if you remember last week we were doing that where the rock falls. So I just want to take you to some shots here of the actual rock falls so you could see it. So let's go to there. Oops, why didn't you take it? There we go. So there's that truck in there right now. You can see the lights flashing on either side of it where it's up against the barrier, and the overhead lights are on as well. So that's one shot of it, and then on camera 6, that's the overhead of it. So you can see we're getting there, slow and sure. But today we're going to concentrate on these puppies. So I have 7 of these. One's already, oh no, 8 of them, sorry. One's already weathered and in the repair shop on the layout. The one is obviously down there where it's unloading the rock into the crusher. And then I've got these 6. Now they're all relatively different models of cat equipment. So they are painted with, I was able to find online a spray paint that was actually provided by CAT for touching up their equipment. And I sprayed these down with that paint. Now I don't know why, but they're a little bit different, but I think that has to do with the resin underneath it. Some were gray, some were clear, some were a skin tone, was whatever resin I had at the time. And then yesterday I painted up the wheels, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but right on here is the model number of the truck, and on this side, right underneath the window, I can barely see it, I don't think, is the CAT logo. And of course you can't go out and buy those. So what I did was I purchased from Expert Choice decals for let me see, we'll switch to one. Expert Choice decals, and this is for laser jet printer. And so, well, it's not a jet printer, it's just a laser printer. And then I went ahead and printed out the numbers. I measured with my calipers the size that they needed to be, and I went ahead and did this. The only trouble with this is I couldn't figure out which side of the paper was supposed to be used, and so I ran it through the machine a couple of times until finally it came out on what I assumed was the right side, and it was. So I put all of those decals in place, and then I clear coated these with a matte varnish to seal the decals. And I guess most modelers would normally do the decals as the last thing, but I want to weather these, and I want to weather them with the decals on so that when I do the dust and everything else that I'm going to do here, we'll weather the decals as well. On 3 of these 3, I need to get out my etched brass railings and put the railings on the front of these here. Let me see, let's go back to 5. So they need to have a railing right in here. and I was going to 3D print them, but I realized they'd be way too thick in respect to the stairs and stuff that are on the front of this thing, because the stairs on this thing, wherever we go, there you go, they're very, very fine. You see that? Extremely fine. So there's 3 of these that are a model. There's 2 of these. And there's 1 of these. And the only way I know the difference is because of the different staircases on the front of them. I have no idea what they really are. So this one hasn't been weathered yet, but I thought you'd want to see what it looked like with the rock in the vehicle. So I'm not going to do all of these today on camera. I'll do maybe 2 or 3 so that you can see how I approach it. I've got a whack of paint down here. You can see that right now. I've got some pigments, and we're just going to go and sort of get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is use my airbrush. Now, I have a big compressor and everything, but I went out and bought this. This is the cat's ass, this thing. It is an air compressor. And you can see it's merrily spraying what is water right now out of that brush. It is almost silent. Almost silent. And there we go. It's empty now. So we're going to use the airbrush first and spray down. Now, where are you? I got darker, ochre wash, black wash, light rust, transparent dust, dark rust, sand. I think we'll start with sand. So what I've done is to paint the vehicles. I went to the web. I actually went to the CAT website. There's tons of photographs. So this is a picture. I wonder if I can get it on 3. Oh, sorry, that's not on camera. There we go. So that's what they look like brand new out of the shop. By the time they hit a mine, they look like this. And you can see there's not a lot of yellow showing, and there's a lot of dust and dirt all over the place. I've got another one here. Same deal. So we're going to weather the tires first. And I'm just going to use my little vibrator here to mix up this tube paint. Alright, now this is a Model Air, so it's designed to go in the airbrush without any need to thin it. And where's my scrap of paper here? There we go, there's my scrap of paper. So when I'm using the brush, what I do is I always start on a piece of paper. Because this is a dual action brush, depends on how far back you pull this trigger. And I can get that, or I can get that thin line I just drawn. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick one of these up. And I'm just going to, there we go. And this is very subtle. So you can see that front wheel's pretty glossy. Go inside the hub there. the other side. Now this little airbrush I think cost me $89 on Amazon. So it wasn't a big purchase. And what I really like is the fact that it doesn't have a hose attached to it. It always seems to get in my way. So that's the first layer on the tires. And I want to make sure we do the tires this way as well. Now this is going to be very subtle. Am I even on camera? No, I'm not. Hold on. So I'm just gonna swing this. I got a fancy new camera mount here, and we'll just turn it like that. That way, yeah, there we go. That's better. So right away, I've dulled down these tires. They're not as shiny as they were. Their base color was a rubber black enamel, and then I sprayed it with clear matte varnish, so that I could put these latex paints over top of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same dust. Let me move that out of the way. There we go. And I'm just going to spray down the whole vehicle. So you could see, can you see how dirty that got all of a sudden? So what all I need to do now is to like I say, I like this little airbrush. I was thinking of buying another compressor, but no, this thing is beautiful. There we go. Here. Now I guess if you could get the right colors, you could do this with a spray can, but you wouldn't get as much I'll spray the bottom, and I know you're never going to see it, but I'll do it anyway. And now the top. Well, like I say, this is just the first pass, and already, oh, I can see I missed a place. Already there's a huge difference between the one that's not weathered and the one that is. I've got a spray in here around the cab. So that was like 2-3 drops of paint. And that one's pretty well weathered up, and now we've got to go on to other colors, but I'm just going to check and see if this is empty. It is. Okay, so handy dandy paint drying speeder upper. So, let's see what we got. That was sand, I think. What do we got here is a wash. An ochre wash. Let's try that. I'm going to just lay down a couple of colors of paint, and then I'm going to use pigments. So let's see what we get here. Now, I don't know if this has a cap on it. Some of these have never been opened. I've got a whack of paint. So this is a wash. And we'll come back in here now again. Now once again, I'm going to test it on a piece of paper. So I'm just going to, from a distance, just going to now, there isn't any, really wrong or right way to do this. It's just a matter of when you feel it's got it dirty enough, you got it dirty enough. I do recommend finding some reference pictures. Alright, so that's good and dirty now. Alright, so I could keep going with the airbrush, but I'm not. I'm a bigger fan of using the pigments, and the reason for that is you can stick them into the recesses of the model. You do a lot in N scale because it's so small. You got to be a little bit careful. But here we go. So this is AK Pigments Burnt Rust Red. And so this is a powder, and I've just got a very soft brush, and I'm just going to go and stick it in the powder, and then I'm going to what I'm trying to do is get it along the tops of these structural supports that are on the vehicle. And we'll just pick up a little bit more, and we'll just dust the wheels a bit. Now the neat thing about the pigments is, if you do too much, you can always take it off. Just make sure you get it good and dirty. Like I said, there's no real wrong way to do this. And this one's called Road Dirt. Again, by AK Interactive. I get all my paints from Sunward Hobbies in Southern Ontario. They have a huge selection. They're great service. So I'm just gonna dirty down some areas that haven't been dirtied down here. Now I'm putting it on real heavy. So, see if I can get this thing to focus. There we go. So there's a weathered dump truck, as compares to a pristine, clear dump truck. So I'm just going to take the load that's in this one and put it in this one. Just going to reach back and get a little bit more. Now again, this is just decorative garden stone, which comes brown. I can never figure out which way to go with this. Here, put it there. There we go. It comes brown like that, and I just keep a baking sheet. I lay it all out flat on the baking sheet, and then I mix up a black wash and I pour it on and I leave it sit for days, and eventually the rocks soak up everything. So that's what it's going to look like. Sorry, let's do that, and let's see. Good night. There you go. That's a weathered truck for sure. So I'm off camera now. I'm going to do all the rest of this. That's my my challenge for today is to get these 6 done up. I'm actually going to print out a couple more of these. I like the look of this this particular model. Where am I here? I keep losing myself. I like the look of this particular model. The details are stronger. The ladders are in better shape all around. It does have a couple of flaws when it prints. Sometimes it prints all of the parts, and sometimes it doesn't print them. It leaves a little part out here and there. But it's hard to tell when you're talking N scale. So that's it for today. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank people who are subscribers. I think we're at like 66, 68 subscribers, which is amazing as far as I'm concerned. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to take our little get that out of the way. We're going to take our little small crusher. We're going to attach the resin pieces to it, and we're going to build little mounds at the end of each one of these resin pieces, indicating that there's gravel being made into a large mound. So, as I said, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Everybody take care of themselves. It's kind of a weird world we're living in right now, but we'll get through it together. So, thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.